Curtis Trades here, and I'm going to go over the different drive modes on your Selec-trac dial for your Jeep Grand Cherokee. This is also really common on a lot of the other Jeep brands, like the Compass, for example, the Wrangler. Many of these vehicles share these same mode types. I'm going to explain what each mode is and when you should maybe use them and what the differences are and how to get into those modes. So normal driving mode is where the computer has everything set for you. It doesn't change any of the driving dynamics. The vehicle is in all-wheel drive, the traction control is on, the stability control is on, ABS braking is on, and it's just a normal driving mode. It is good for almost every situation you will ever experience on the roads. On the trails or off-road, you might want to go into some of the other modes, but for the most part, just the normal driving mode is all you're going to need for the street. I have never changed my car out of the normal driving mode. And the other reason I don't like changing it is because I'm used to how the car reacts when I'm in the normal driving mode. And if I switch it to like snow mode, for example, when it's snowy out, it changes how the vehicle behaves, and I'm not necessarily used to driving in those modes. So that's kind of why I like to keep it in the normal driving mode. For all the drive modes, snow, sand, and mud, and normal, you can just switch the dial while you're driving. You don't need to stop the car to do it. The only one where you need to stop the car or go slow is when you put it into rock mode. And that's when it puts it in four-wheel drive low. And so if you're driving down the road, you can just switch between modes. If you do accidentally switch to rock mode, it will let you know that you can't do that while you're driving fast, and it'll say you have to slow the vehicle down to 2-3 miles an hour before it will switch into rock mode. Snow mode. What does the snow mode do? Basically, it has the car start out in second gear so that you're less likely to spin the tires when you start. It moves more of the power to be more front biased, so you're less likely to get the vehicle sideways when accelerating. It also increases the sensitivity of the traction control system and the ABS systems. And what that will do is it will allow you to get going easier off of the start and be less likely to spin your tires and get stuck. That's basically all it will do. The other thing it does in snow mode is it makes the throttle less responsive, so you have to push it down further to get more power. What that allows you to do is it allows you to be a little bit more selective with how much power you're giving the car, so it's not as twitchy. So if you accidentally give it a little too much, it's not going to be as likely to spin the tires on you and lose control. And then sand and mud mode are very similar actually, and what they do is they want you to make sure that your wheels don't lock up and slow your vehicle down too much. So what they do is they turn off the traction control and they make it so that your vehicle is less likely to slow down. Now, if you're driving in sand or mud, you know that momentum is super important so that you don't get stuck. Because if you get your vehicle slowed down to almost a stop, it's extremely hard to get it moving again in sand or mud. And so what those modes will do is they will limit the stability control. And what the stability control does is when you're sliding or if your wheels start to spin a little bit, it puts the brakes on them and slows them down. And that's really bad when you're in sand or mud because you're going to get stuck. And so it stops the wheels from doing that, and it lets you get a little bit more sideways, and it lets the tires spin a little bit more so that you can keep your momentum going and you don't get stuck. And then rock is for super low off-roading on rock, obviously. Do not use it on the streets. It is only for low speed crawling, and you have to activate the four-wheel drive low, which means you drive about 2 or 3 miles an hour, and then you push the button and it will put the car into four-wheel drive low mode where it locks the differentials and it locks to make all four wheels move at the same time. And the problem with using that on pavement or on the streets is if you do it at a fast speed, it actually will drag your tires and it can damage your differentials because it will make the wheels not be able to move at different speeds, especially when you're turning. But if you're off-road on sand or soft, loose materials, it allows the wheels to be drug without putting too much stress on your drive line. So again, four-wheel drive low and rock mode are only for off-roading when you're in really loose driving condition. If you're on road, even if it's snowy or icy, I like to just do normal mode because I know exactly what the car is going to do and I can expect the vehicle to behave the same way that I'm used to it behaving. But again, these modes are very helpful to get you out unstuck, especially in sand or mud, to help you keep your wheels moving so you don't get stuck.